Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is Defub21, and today, as always, I have a new video game trailer for us to look at and for me to tell you what I think afterwards. This is a trailer for a game I am most definitely paying attention to and very interested in. Specifically, this is Middle-earth: Shadow of War, which is the sequel to Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, which, in terms of its Nemesis AI system for bad guy leaders, sergeants, captains, lieutenants, colonels, generals, or the equivalent of that in the Shadow of Mordor world/universe, is one of the most genuinely innovative things we've seen this console generation, and has so far been sadly not really mimicked by anyone. Without further ado, let's take a look, and then I shall let you know what I think.
Death calls to you again, Ranger. How do you answer?
We bring this war to them. For the Bright Lord.
PlayStation.
Well, what to say and think about this? Well, stating the most obvious, the name of the trailer is Open World, and this is clearly what this trailer is about. In other words, the open world environments your character gets to travel through and you get to play through. If there was a criticism about Shadow of Mordor, is that effectively the open world was just split into two separate zones, both of which were somewhat, well, the first one was kind of quite, brown, monotone, we'd expect Mordor to look like. The other one was a bit greener and more pastoral in nature, but they were still both quite they were, there wasn't a lot of diversity in terms of the game world itself. It's probably from a design standpoint, from a production quality standpoint, probably the weakest aspect of the previous game, and they very clearly have aimed to target that weakness in this game. The environments are clearly much more diverse. You appear to have kind of a foresty, swampy areas. You've got a lot more trees than were present in the previous game, certainly from what I remember playing it. You've got snow, you've got these large kind of open meeting places and so on, and again, these big, kind of actually quite beautiful, aesthetically quite pleasing kind of castle type areas to try and sneak into or assault directly. And it should also be noted the game is obviously across the board a significant visual upgrade, because the last game, again Shadow of Mordor, was a cross-generation title. It was on 360, PS3, and Xbox One and PS4, and that invariably held the game back in terms of its design. Level design, gameplay design, and so on, because it had to fit within the constraints of the last generation hardware, only 512 megs of RAM compared to 4 for game code, thereabouts in the 360 or in the Xbox One and the PS4. So overall, not insignificant visual upgrade. They've clearly built a game world that is much more visually diverse than in the previous game, which definitely, considering how that was a significant weakness of the previous one, that's certainly something justifying a trailer to show off that they've rectified that. So again, looks pretty cool. I'm still very interested in this game. I bought Shadow of Mordor when it was on sale on Xbox One. Certainly didn't regret doing that. I think I'll probably buy it on PC this time, considering what we're likely to get in terms of better graphics on PC and probably a lower price. Certainly here in Euroland, where the current gen game prices have been, as far as I'm concerned, crazy since day one. But again, visually, a big improvement over the previous game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's not where they've concentrated the bulk of their resources, because again, if there's one thing that's been lacking this console generation, has been significant evolution in terms of world design and gameplay and game design, vis-a-vis things like physics, artificial intelligence, and so on, which represented a huge leap over PS2 and the original Xbox on the last gen systems. But there's only been a marginal improvement this time around, because Microsoft and Sony were much more conservative with the hard design of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. In kind of simple layman's terms, it's not the only major factor, but one of the main ones is that the CPU cores in the Xbox One and the PS4 are running at 1.6 gigahertz or 1600 megahertz. In the 360 and the PlayStation 3, they're running at twice that fast at 3.2. And the reality is, again, the Xbox and PS4, they're on the same chip as the memory controller. They have out of order execution. They're much more modern for CPU cores, and there's 8 of them apiece in both systems. But again, the jump in processor power is nowhere near as in the Xbox One and PS4 is nowhere near as proportional compared to the jump in graphics power and RAM over the previous gen 360 and PS3 systems. So this has been, again, Shadow of Mordor was one of the few games that have come out this generation that have done something genuinely new on the kind of non-graphics front. That wasn't technically feasible on the previous generation hardware, in other words, the Nemesis AI system. And I really, really wish, more developers, more publishers had seen that and said, oh, that's very popular, we should try doing something like that. Or just innovating at all, really, in areas like that. And just no one seems to have really bothered to try and do that, rather sadly. Hopefully, we might see some more innovation in that area in this generation, but at this stage, probably next gen systems are only maybe 3 years, if we're lucky, 3 years away. I don't think we're going to see it, but you never know. Fingers crossed. But anyway, cool trailer. Shows off an area where this game obviously hugely improves over the last gen, or the previous game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this. If you liked the video, please like it. And if for some strange reason you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so for more scintillating content like this. This is Defub21 signing off. Toodaloo.